Welcome to another St. Pete by Night production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
In the heart of night, we rise from shadows, howling at the moon, igniting our battles, cleansing Gaia of an endless fight, until our final days we will fight. Thanks, man, we stand united as one. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the brave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Everywhere we run, the wind is at our back. All the world's forces we will track. From the depths of the ocean to the clouds in the sky, vampires tremble as we learn to fight. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the brave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Everywhere with the pack, let the night be our guide. In battles of honor, we shall never hide. Fuck you, never hide.
Good evening and welcome to the St. Pete by Night Entertainment Network. St. Petersburg by Night is a World of Darkness role-playing community originating in St. Petersburg, Florida. My name is Kent, also known as Michikent on all social media, and I will be your storyteller tonight. It's Friday night, and you know what that means. It's time for Hounds, our Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition chronicles set in Tampa Bay, Florida, where a pack of young guru have traveled from Michigan to assist the Sept of the Evening Star in combating the forces of the worm, both physical and spiritual. You can follow St. Pete by Night on all of the social media listed in the description down below, and you can join our community by following that Discord link where you could take part in one of the many activities we have running all month long. We are now offering for players to run or play in 20th anniversary or Chronicles of Darkness games as well, so head on over and join our community today. Now let's introduce our players. Players, go ahead and introduce yourselves if you please.
Hello, everyone. My name's Nikki, and I will be playing Delphine Gaia Speaker, the Silent Strider Theurge.
Hello, he, she, theys. My name is Jay, and happy Pride Month, by the way, and I'll be playing Forged from Failures, Bodnar Rune.
Hi, I'm Navers. I play Quinn Kelly, the Ragabash Children of Gaia.
Hey everyone, my name is Ben, and I'll be playing Raymond Gorn, the Ghost Council Philodox.
It's actually Pride Month like the last two sessions as well, but any time is a good time to say it. Let's get everybody caught up as to where we are now. Last week, we had a very tense and confrontational affair as Quinn went with the members of the Cult of Fenris to attack the university and the leech activities happening there. What they found was an underground library of sorts / testing facility that seemed to have been run by a Tremere by the name of Ashcroft, who had been doing some experimenting and preparations to quote unquote defend against the werewolf threat. they also were able to rescue an individual who had been captured, a student from the campus that had been being used as possibly a test subject or just someone being fed on by the inhabitants of the underground lair. While they did take losses on the Cult of Fenris side, most were able to make it out fairly unscathed, but it was made very evident and clear that the vampires are getting more and more prepared for the Guru, as they have been stocking up on silver weapons and experimenting with Dragon's Breath rounds, and that they do seem to be preparing for a potential breaking of the treaty in the future. On the other side of things, however, the Hellhounds had a guest within their would-be cairn by the name of Ethan, and Ethan seemed to slowly prod at and pick apart each of their personal psyches, drawing upon past events with knowledge that it's surprising that he had, though due to the explanation that he is connected to Fenris, made it a little bit more clear that he had seen any events or been told about any events that Fenris had been privy to in the past, including the biggest revelation that Juniper had been eating human beings, including possibly Delphine's parents. So this does lead to high and intense emotions, but thankfully the meeting parted ways, at least without any obvious aggressions, and a deal was struck that the Cult of Fenris would not invade the Ebor territory for 60 days as long as the Hellhounds took care of the castle. This does put the Hellhounds in a very precarious situation, because to go after the castle would be to violate the treaty and could potentially draw some very unhappy eyes their way in terms of leadership and in terms of, all of the vampires in the city. What they will decide to do will hopefully be determined soon, but one way or another, they do find themselves between a rock and a hard place with a decision to make. Let's get into our first scene where Delphine confronts the pack's mentor, Stakes, about all of these new revelations about Juniper. Delphine, it's been a particularly trying few days ever since your meeting with Ethan. All of this new information coming upon you wave after wave, all of these realizations making you question everything you thought you knew about your deceased packmate and the impact that they were having on you and your surroundings. But now with this revelation, it raises even more questions and more feelings about the matter. So I'd ask you, as you go to approach Stakes Her Claim, the mentor of the Hellhounds pack, what is going through your mind?
Delphine did not have a good time with anything that happened that night with Ethan. She was upset. She was angry. He kept poking at every little insecurity that all of them had, with all of this intimate knowledge that he possessed that they had no idea that he possessed. She's feeling like she's been made a fool of. She's feeling like she's been taken advantage of. And she's feeling a little betrayed. Because she knows Stakes very well. It's been almost 2 years at this point. And Stakes knew her pups better than anyone. And she was always very close and protective of Juniper. And she is wondering if that feeling of betrayal has to extend to Stakes now, because of how everything went down with the whole forgiving of Juniper. And she's wondering if she's even she's wondering if she's going to even be able to look Stakes in the face for a while after this.
Okay. So as you go to seek out Stakes Her Claim, you return to the Sept's cairn in the middle of the state park. And after a while of searching, you're able to pick up the trail as to Stake's possible location along the riverbank where often many a meeting has taken place. You can find Stakes actually walking in her Hamid form, gathering up firewood to continue to build up the stockpile of firewood in the cairn itself to allow to keep the bonfire lit. As you approach, she looks up at you somewhat impassively, and the scene is yours.
Approaching Stakes would very easily be able to tell that Delphine is agitated and that Stakes herself is the focus of whatever's on her mind right now. And very, very determined footsteps towards her as she's approaching along the bank.
If you're coming for a fight, I'm going to warn you, you stink like Fenris, so I'm going to probably not hold back.
She glares a little bit. Yeah, we know you don't like Fenris. We had to do what we had to do.
What's wrong, Delphine?
Did you know what she did? Did you know what Juniper did?
Don't we all know what Juniper did? It's been the target of much debate for a good majority of our time here.
Did you know she broke the litany?
I know she was a murderer, if that's what you mean. I know she smelled of blood on many times that I came across her, and no matter how much she scrubbed, she couldn't get rid of that scent.
Human blood, right?
Yes.
Did you know she ate those people?
I had suspicions, but no proof.
And you didn't think to bring those up? You didn't think that us having a cannibal was worth mentioning?
Unlike most humans, Delphine, I don't make baseless accusations just 'cause. I look for the proof, I find it, and then I deal with it. I did approach and confront Juniper multiple times about her activities, and I impressed upon her the need to reveal for herself what she was doing. But no, I didn't feel like it was necessary to gossip about what pack members were doing. I think who you're really mad at is somebody that you can't take that frustration out on anymore. And it's understandable. I'm still mad at Juniper for everything. For getting herself killed. For calling out to Fenris first on multiple occasions. For betraying me, you, and this entire pack who tried nothing more than to support her. And it's easy to call her last actions heroic. I call it a suicide mission. She wanted an out and she got it.
She wanted to get away with what she did.
Probably.
I fucking forgave her, and I fucking threw her a funeral. I put all of that down. I helped her get rid of the very people she murdered and digested.
Yeah.
And she fucking played me.
I get that it might feel that way. What I do is I pity her. I pity her that she couldn't ask for help. I pity her that she couldn't listen when she was told what she could do to make it better. I'm still angry, as you are. But what good does it do other than just tear us down further? Burn what we're trying to build in the absence of her. I don't know if you've noticed, but all things considered, things have gotten a little bit easier around her here with her gone.
Sometimes I feel like she was just wanting to make everything burn around her.
Yeah, she belonged with them. She made that very clear.
I'm angry because I felt like I had no other option but to forgive her. I wasn't going to make you fight her like you suggested. I couldn't take her in a fight. I saw what she did to Forged. Now I'm wondering how extreme she got with their fight. I'm wondering how far she went with when she took him out.
Are you angrier at her or at yourself for forgiving her?
Both. Both because I didn't know everything. I thought they were lying to me. They said as much. They were telling the truth. They said they were saying things about that hinted towards what she did to them. And I chose not to believe them. Because I thought that they were just trying to get me to turn on her.
So what do you want to do now?
I don't know.
Do you want to scream?
I wish I could have. I wish I had taken the opportunity to actually just fucking beat her up.
No beating you could have been given her would have been worse than the beating she gave herself.
Delphine just rolls her eyes a little bit. Because that's what she always was the victim.
She was also her own torturer. She used that catalyst of her family being destroyed to ruin the rest of her life.
She could have used all of this as a fresh start. It was a fresh start for all of us. Forge took it. I took it. Ray's taking it. Fuck, his friend was a Fomori and we brought him back.
Well, 3 out of 5 isn't bad.
I don't know what to do. Legitimately, I feel like I feel angry. I feel betrayed. I feel like I can try to fix things, and it keeps getting blown right back in our faces. I try to keep all of us safe at the new place in Ybor. And I try to try to help guide us to be better people, to be better Geru. And then some pricks come along and fucking constantly remind us of what pieces of shit we were. Poking at Forge's insecurities, at Ray's mistake, at my problem. Like, we can never get away from what we were when we got here. No matter how much we try.
Why do you care? Why do you care what they think? The reason they're getting to you is because you're letting them. You haven't dealt with or come to terms with what you were. You haven't moved on as well as you think. As for things blowing up in your face, yeah, that's leadership. Welcome to my life. I had to watch it happen with all of you time and time again, but I didn't give up on you because I saw you were trying. You've come a long way. But if you let them shove you right back down the hill, then you haven't come as far as you thought. But that's what they do. They make you feel like a piece of shit, so you'll go back to being a piece of shit so you can be a piece of shit with them.
I want nothing to do with that man. His soul is a void. He's got nothing. He feels nothing. I don't want that for me. I don't want that for any of us. But he's trying so hard to take Forge, and now Quinn too. They won't leave them alone.
Why would they? It's working.
Am I going to have to kill Forged and Quinn like you had to do with your brother?
Maybe. But
I
also,
can't do that.
You have time. You have time to stop it, to prevent it, to remind them of the work they've done, to remind them of the importance of what we're trying to do here, and to show them that there is another way to accomplish the goals that they want to accomplish that isn't reckless and self-destructive. If anyone knows what it's like to break out of being self-destructive, Delphine, it's you. You've done something nobody would have believed you could have done. And not only that, you've risen above it and beyond it. You're a pack leader. You're starting a cairn. You're growing more powerful as a theurge. If you'd have told us all of that a year ago, I think very few of us would have believed it. I believed it because I knew what was inside of you. But you had to learn it. You had to know, and you did. Don't let the veiled threats and comments of the Fenris poke holes in the wall you've built. Otherwise, that wall was made of tissue paper the whole time. And you're still lying to yourself.
She swipes at the corner of her eye with the end of her sleeve.
Stakes awkwardly, drops the wood that she's gathered onto the ground, and walks over and wraps her arms around you in a very forced hug, but tries to be as comforting as she possibly can in her uncomfortable human body.
She's letting it happen, but is just kind of staring at her, just, you're so bad at this.
I know.
Don't force it. You're the one that was, you and Willow constantly saying you don't need to be human. Just don't force yourself to do a human thing if you don't want to do it.
I don't need to be, but in this moment, I want to be for you. Not all of my pups are wolves, so I have to accommodate and make compromises to be the best den mother I can be for them. And you look like you need it.
I don't know how I would have reacted if she were still here.
Probably exactly the way they'd want you to. They'd want to destroy what you've built so that all of you have nowhere else to go except to them. Juniper was already 1 foot in their direction. That probably would have helped push it the rest of the way.
I know you hate them. You have every right to. But they can't keep doing this to kids like her, like Juniper. They can't keep doing this to people like Forged and Quinn. They can't. They're just fucking kids.
You're right.
Legally, sure, we're adults in the eyes of our fucking federal government, but our brains aren't developed. We don't know how to make smart decisions. We're good at, they're good, like, it's easy to fuck with us and make us think things.
You're right. But they're only responsible for half of it. The other half is on all of you for letting them. For letting their words make sense to you. For letting their barbs hurt you. A little bit of hurt is understandable, but the deep hurt you're feeling right now, that's what they want. And you're giving it to them. And I do hate them, but I also hate myself for letting it happen. For letting it happen to my brother, letting it happen to my sept. I felt like I should have been better, stronger, smarter. And I'm still trying to accept that they let it happen too.
It's already happening here. Already they got to us. And I know, because I feel it too. I'm angry and fucking feeling guilty because they weren't wrong. We haven't been doing enough. I feel like we haven't been doing enough. We are literally letting people get eaten. And we know about it and we agreed to it. And I want to help them, but they just want us to do that so we can create problems.
That's where you're wrong. I don't think they want you to create problems. I think they are truly desperate for any help they can get. But you'd be exchanging for people being eaten for people being killed. Because they don't care. Anything that stands in their way gets destroyed.
I don't want them to help. I don't want their help. But I do want to protect the people in Ybor, in the city. I want to even fucking protect those kids that they are have swayed. Quinn, about some of them. I don't feel like they belong with them.
Okay. That and a nickel won't buy you anything. They have to decide they don't belong with them.
They haven't been shown another option.
What option are you looking for? Oh, they haven't?
They haven't been shown another option. Juniper had two options. She could have stuck with this, but she chose them. They've only known them.
So show them. Show them that there's another way to fight that doesn't involve tooth and claw. Show them that there's another way to fight that doesn't involve completely leveling the earth.
They're only giving us 60 days. Peace.
60 days is a lot longer than you think.
I know, but it's only 60 days so we can take care of the Leech Den. They said that they were going for them next. I had to stop them. I can't have them in the neighborhood.
Okay. To make the neighborhood a place they don't want to go.
How did you guys do it? If any, at any point, did you guys deal with something like this up in Michigan? Dealing with leeches without tooth and claw? I know there weren't exactly a lot of people in hell, but Detroit, Ann Arbor, anything like that?
I can't say for certain how all those issues were dealt with, but I also know that we didn't have nearly the same amount of resources you do now. And we had to guard an entire state with just a handful of us. So we were spread pretty thin. So tooth and claw was often the best option, which is probably what drew Fenris to us.
It's not an option here. Not in that neighborhood.
Well, it is, but it depends on what kind of neighborhood you want to be left over when you're done.
Not a violent one.
Okay. So what can you do?
She huffs and thinks for a moment, staring at the water. Building codes. Know that our entire factory, not up to state codes from when it was built. We have a fucking basement. That's not supposed to be a thing here because of flooding. Maybe they have one. All of the buildings in Ybor were built around the same time period.
Maybe.
Social media. Humans love being on their phones and computers. They're easily influenced by negative words about places. People go online, they're more likely to say something bad about something than something good. The spirits, there's probably a ton of Banes out around that fucking place. Pushing them out might help things.
Good.
But the leech itself has power and resources as well. We don't know what those are. We don't even know what leech owns the place. If they ever leave. If they did leave, find it when it's outside. Kill it outside of the territory and its building.
Yeah. Although I'm guessing if they're aware that you're here, they've probably made precautions against that. But you're thinking far more complicated than you need to. Those are good and probably leads worth chasing down, but in the meantime, it can be as simple as making the place seem less appealing for people to go. Giving an alternative. Humans, as much as they protest against it, believe in community, need community. And Ybor especially has a very strong sense of community. But it's been beaten and torn and picked apart. Maybe it just needs to be built back up. I know that some humans have these things called neighborhood watches, where they look for things that seem out of place. Maybe they need something like that.
More forges out there to keep the vibe up.
Yeah. And ones that won't turn into tall, furry monsters that ruin everything you're trying to build.
She shakes her head at the mention of werewolves again and just... I like to give people second chances, but that man needs to die.
Probably. Definitely.
He
But
wants
that's
to
not...
destroy all of this, and I don't want that to happen.
No. But that's not what you're good at. So what are you good at?
Thinking outside the box.
Yeah. And right now, the box is direct confrontation. Attack and tear and claw. They want you to do what they would do for them, to prove that you are no better than them, that maybe they're right. Don't let them have that.
Would you judge me at all if I went to go visit my old drug dealer? Because unfortunately, he's probably going to be the best person to ask about that place.
I have never judged you, Delphine, more than you've judged yourself. I knew you struggled, but it didn't change the way I felt about you. It didn't change my hopes for you to find your way out. If you think you're ready, if you think that's a temptation you can face, then why would I judge you?
Because I'm projecting.
Yeah. So stop. You are strong enough to kick a habit that kills most humans, or that at least ruins their lives. You're stronger than you give yourself credit for. So maybe, instead of denying it or undermining it, you should accept it and use it.
She'll nod and just roll up her sleeves a little bit just to avoid fidgeting. Because that's what she always falls back to, is just the nervous fidgeting.
What do you want Ebor to be?
First of all, safe. It's to be a safe place for all of us and for the people that live there. I want it to be a next step for what this place is. I know that the rest of the nation doesn't exactly view this place fondly. They think that, ironically, they think that we're like them. In a way.
Or what they're too afraid to admit they are or have become.
I want it to be, and I want it to be proof that that we're not the same people we were. I want it to be proof that we are not the same people that walked into Tampa almost 2 years ago.
Who? Who are you trying to prove that to?
Us.
Do you think Forged worries that he's the same person he was 2 years ago?
Yes.
Do you think Raymond worries he's the same person he was 2 years ago?
Like you just said to me a little few minutes ago. We're judging ourselves more than you judge us. I just feel like if we can do this, if we can accomplish it, we can prove it to ourselves.
Hold on to that. Make that your motivation. Stop worrying about what the old nation thinks. Stop worrying about what the Fenris think. Stop worrying about some kind of deadline. Make it the place you'd be proud of. That's all that matters. Because you're going to have to live there. One day the Fenris are going to die or move on. And you're going to be left behind with whatever is left. So who cares what anybody else thinks? You have to live in it. You have to deal with it. You have to build it. But you're not building it for others, Delphine. You're building it for you and your pack.
Gods. And just it's a baggy sweater, so she just keeps rolling up her sleeves again just to make sure that she doesn't revert back to trying to take Stakes' advice to heart, just trying to do better and be better and stop being her own worst critic, second guessing herself.
You've spent so much of your life trying to get the approval of others. Your parents, Sean, the old sept, the spirits, your fellow pack members. Do you want to surround yourself with people who like a fake version of you? Or do you want to draw to you the people who appreciate the real you? Yeah, because the real you is pretty fucking awesome. And I think she needs to stick her head out more often.
She's been a bit of an introvert lately, but I can try to let her out a bit more.
Yeah, she's scared. And for good reason. She's angry, and for good reason. But you can't keep that all to yourself, or it's just going to destroy you. The people who care about you want to know how you feel, want to help you through it.
She takes a little bit of a breath and just takes it in and then lets it out slowly. I can work on it. Just gotta relearn how.
It's okay to want things. This life tries to teach us that it's all about sacrifice. But if you have nothing that gets you through that sacrifice, nothing that you're striving for or hoping for or wanting, then you are like them.
I don't want to sacrifice anything.
You're going to.
I know, but I think it's dumb. Right now I want better. I want to be able to say I want a good place for me and my pack. I don't fucking want to sacrifice anything for it. I don't want to only think that it's just sacrifice.
Good. Keep that mindset. But don't think of it as failure when you have to. Keeping that mindset means you're doing everything you can to stop it. But when it happens, you can either let it ruin you and knock you over and make you feel like a failure, or you can just keep going. Keep pushing.
Stubborn determination.
Yeah.
Just like you.
Kinda.
Well, you are the one that initiated a tree kidnapping.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. I didn't know it was the spirit. I just thought it was ironic that they stole our willow and you took a willow.
They bloodied our nose. I bloodied theirs. Well, Quinn and I bloodied theirs.
Work on it.
I know you will.
Try to be me.
Be the version of you that you want to be. Because being you includes all your flaws, includes all your problems. But aspiring to be the best version of you means you're never standing still. You're always moving towards something.
She takes another deep breath and just lets it out. Real me is not going to be just letting people get eaten in Ybor. I'm going to work on that for sure. I'm not going to try to ruin the treaty or anything, but I can't let it keep happening to them.
Well, that's where you're wrong. You can, but you're choosing not to.
I won't let it keep happening to them.
Good. You can take away their food source without outright attacking them. Because if you do, all you do is create a space for someone else to move in and take over.
Like Pentex, you take out one head, another one just replaces it.
That's right.
Another Vanessa will show up.
Yeah. But if you change the environment If you make it so it's a place they don't want to be, a place that doesn't give them what they need or want, they have no reason to come back.
Sorry for coming at you like I did.
Keeps things interesting.
I know I've said it before. It's just, I thought you might have. You always know a lot about what's going on with us, even like without us realizing it. And I thought you might have known and just been hiding it because Juniper was your baby.
So are you. And Forged. And Raymond. And even Quinn, even though he's more of a pain in the ass about it.
She pauses and like puts her raises her head. She was your runt, if that makes sense. In human families, the youngest one usually gets all of the parents' attention, usually. The baby of the family. And
Wolves have those too. You're not speaking a foreign language.
I know, but it's Juniper always seemed closest to you.
That's because she made it that way. And even at the end, we weren't as close as you think.
She had us fooled.
Yeah.
And she'll if Stakes is like still standing relatively close to her, she won't do a hug. She'll lean. She'll just like press her side against Stakes' side. And just give her a look like we know some of us have been learning how wolves hug.
I appreciate it. But don't do it for me. Do it so that it helps you.
Well, I did it mostly because a wolf puppy was yelling at us about not treating her like a puppy, so I got to reading, but it's helpful in this situation.
Good. Don't play their game. Play your game. And eventually you'll make them play your game too.
You're playing Call of Duty and I'm choosing to play an escape room instead.
I don't know what any of that is, but I will agree.
Brain over brawn.
You are smarter than they are. They are trying to make you feel dumb. But you are smarter.
It was working for a second.
Yeah. If they weren't good at it, they wouldn't still be here. Don't underestimate them. Yes, they are aggressive. Yes, Hoglosk has taken over everything they do. But Hoglosk takes many forms, just like everything. Hoglosk is a fury that overwhelms guilt or fear or shame. Doesn't mean you're reckless.
She pulls her shoulders back and then will look at Stakes. I just have one more thing that I need to ask you then.
All right.
Are you ready to nip at Forge when he ultimately complains about having to work because I'm about to make him, Ray, and Quinn work. Real me's a little bossy.
I'm ready. So you don't need me to do it. They respect you enough for you to do it. That's why you're leader. And if they don't, then make it so they do.
She'll nod. And she'll look at the wood that Stakes set down to comfort her and will move to start picking it up. Here, I'll help you gather more of this stuff.
Thanks. As the two of you continue down the river's bank, picking up fallen sticks or toppled over logs or dried out driftwood, what's going through your mind now after this conversation?
She's legitimately surprised that Stakes would speak negatively about Juniper. Just because older child syndrome, the way she always viewed Stakes and Juniper's relationship outside looking in, is that was honestly, she felt like they were the closest of their den mother and pups. So getting that from Stakes was a little wasn't something that she was expecting, and it did feel good to have Stakes just do what Stakes does best, which is just speak directly and bluntly, not one to mince words, and make her feel somewhat confident in herself and her ability to do these things. And she does want to do better. She wants to prove that she is better, but she doesn't want to do it for anyone but herself.
And with that, we transition to our next scene. Quinn, you've been back from your excursion with the cult of Fenris for about 5 or 6 days at this point. But you can't help those feelings and thoughts that came from what you saw. You watched a Garou die, and even cult of Fenris or no, the loss of every Garou still hits in some small part because it's one less warrior for Gaia. Were they on the wrong side? Not necessarily. It was just their methods that were questionable. But they were still a fighter. And even if they went out in the most glorious way a member of the cult of Fenris could, there are so many other things they could have done. On top of that, you got to see firsthand what the leeches do to humans. And it is horrifying. And even though the young woman that you rescued was safely dropped off at a hospital to be seen to for their anemia and their poorly taken care of condition, those sunken eyes, those sallow cheeks, that desperation sticks with you. As the weight of all of this continues to press down upon your shoulders, you decide to, for the first time in a while, call home. And I don't mean your old sept, though that was a home for you for many years. No, you've decided to call Eamon Kelly, your uncle. But really, they were more like a father figure when you needed one. a grounding presence that could keep you centered amidst all of the chaos going around you. And after your change, you lost contact with them for a while. You were cut off. But eventually, you reestablished that contact. So as you're pulling out your cell phone, searching for the contact and preparing to call, what is Quinn thinking or feeling in this moment?
Quinn has dealt with fighting before. He's dealt with the understanding that Garu are prone to dying, but seeing the results of what these leeches are doing has shaken him quite a bit. He's always been more of a humanistic side anyways, so seeing that and seeing the effects it is taking on the humans has really shaken him to his core, and it has got him thinking more about his family and his life of when he was human and how it could have affected him.
It's easy to forget how fragile and vulnerable humans truly are once you become a guru, especially the humans that you still care for, especially those that you still include in your life. But a stark reminder like this can bring so much anxiety, so much fear over what might be happening around them, about how much your enemies might know about you and how easily broken they are, and not in a good way. You dial the phone. It rings a couple of times before it picks up.
Quinn? Everything all right?
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. I just wanted to check up on you and see how things were going in Vermont.
Everything's fine. Just quiet as usual. Nothing new to report. Fish have started biting again, which is good. And even though I'm retired, I still like to head out for a pleasure trip every now and then. How are things? Where in the world are you right now?
I made my way to Tampa, actually. A lot of fishing and boating around here too, but I haven't really been able to get out yet.
Well, there's always time for fishing. You just gotta make it.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I just wanted to check up on you. There's been a lot going down over here, so I wanted to give you an update on how I'm doing and making sure that you're doing okay. You know, checking up on my only living relative.
Fair enough. It is very much appreciated. Well, tell me, what's been going on?
I managed to get into like a roommate situation with a couple of people, so finances are pretty okay with housing, and I got myself a job. I'm working harm reduction and an outreach program in the area. And then I got mugged.
Mugged?
Yeah, it's pretty rough down here, surprisingly.
Are you all right?
Oh yeah, you should see the other guy.
I don't know why I doubted it for a second. Yeah, it sounds like you're doing a lot of good, but it also sounds like it's a pretty dangerous situation. Are you planning on staying there?
Yeah, I think it's a good place, and I'm doing a lot of good work, and I think it can really I can help, and I think that's where I need to be.
Well, you've never been one to shy away from the center of it all, so I'm proud of you for standing your ground. Not a lot of people have the gumption to do something like that.
Yeah. There's been a lot of upticks of riots around here too, though. I'm not really sure how to help with that. It feels like it's just getting more and more dangerous.
You know, I think I read something in the paper about that the other day, that there was some protests turning violent down there. I think the best thing you can do is keep your distance and offer a safe place, a safe space
for those that might get caught up in all of that. An alternative.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll talk with my my roommates and see if they'll be willing to help out with that.
A lot of folks are struggling right now. I imagine it's keeping you busy at the center.
Yeah, a lot of, especially around in the area, there's definitely an uptick of people kind of falling to their woes and needing some supports.
Are you taking care of yourself too?
Yeah, I'm definitely taking some self-care and doing what I need to do. Like I said, not enough time to go sailing or anything, but I'm doing enough.
You can only save the world as much as you save yourself. Don't go too hard into the work that you're doing. Make sure that you're making that time for yourself and giving yourself a chance to recover. Can't work all the time.
Yeah, I'm finding that one out. I recently had to kind of lay low a little bit. Got last tussle really hit me hard.
So why Florida? That seems like a bit of a leap and a jump.
Change of scenery, you know, I wanted to go with something a little less cold at the time.
So you decided to go extremely hot.
Yeah, try it out. If it doesn't work out, I'll, meet in the middle somewhere.
Well, you always know you got a place back here.
Thanks, I do appreciate that. And you're sure everything up there is okay? You're okay? No one's skulking around? Anything? You're safe?
Would I not be?
I don't know. I'm making sure, I'm just checking in. You, again, are the only living relative. I need to make sure you're still alive.
I'm okay, Quinn. Don't you worry.
Yeah, you been eating right, or you been eating greasy foods all the time?
There's a long pause as you hear the crinkling of a wrapper being moved aside or tossed away. I could always eat better, but I have included more vegetables, if that counts.
I am so proud of you. How's the house?
Well, it's an old house, you know that, and it's in constant need of upkeep, and I'm slowing down as the years go by, so it's a little bit more than I can handle, but luckily there's been some new neighbors that moved in not long ago, and they got a strapping young man that's always looking to make an extra few bucks, and he's been helping me out, cutting the grass and stuff like that.
Oh, I'm glad about that. All right. No, I'm really glad there's some neighbors helping you out.
Quinn, I know an experience like the one you had can be a lot for someone to take, and I know you're used to being the helper for others. But if you ever need help for yourself, all you need to do is ask.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying.
You want to tell me what happened?
Well, there's a few rowdy kids in the area that are kind of trying to take over our home, and so they kind of accosted us. Then I stole something from them, and then we kind of made like a contract where we stay away from each other, and then one of my other roommates decided to make a different contract that kind of nullifies the contract we made with them. So we're all kind of just like scrambling now.
Are you in a gang, Quinn?
No.
Sounds an awful lot like a gang. And if it looks like a gang, smells like a gang, squawks like a gang, it's probably a gang.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's a gang. But it is probably gang adjacent. But I am being smart. I am not getting into too much trouble.
Like stealing?
Okay, well, first of all, they stole something from me, and I had to retaliate.
Had to or wanted to?
I had to. You know I had to.
I get it. You have to stand your ground. Just be careful. Things like this tend to escalate. You take something of theirs, they take something of yours. You hurt one of theirs, they hurt yours. It just kind of goes up and up and up and up and up. And a man's only as good as his word, but individuals like that, from what it sounds like, their word ain't worth much.
Yeah, I recognized that when I was out with them, helping them with their most recent issues that they've been having.
What kind of issues are those?
They got another group of people who they're kind of angry with. And so they went to a rally at one of the universities, and it kind of got a little out of hand.
Keeping your nose clean from all that kind of business, aren't you?
Yeah, I stayed away from the rally, and I went to a different part of the university entirely.
Good. That's good. I want you to know you can't save everyone. I know that's hard to hear considering everything you've been through and what you've dedicated your life to. But that doesn't mean you aren't saving some. And those that you can save, I know you will. But sometimes they're beyond saving, and I know you know that too.
Yeah, I got broken of that hope a long time ago.
You might think you have, but it's still in you. With the work that you do, you see a lot of hard times and loss, and that weighs upon a person. And I know you hope, even when it seems like all odds are against you. And you like a challenge, I know you do. Just consider the effect it has on you. Helping people seems free, seems easy, but it drains you. It weighs on you. It's a labor unto itself. Don't give more than you have to give.
I will do my best at that and taking care of myself a little bit more. But if you're ever looking to continue with that retirement, come on down and maybe we'll go sailing or something.
There's gotta be some good fishing down there. Maybe I will. But let me know when the place is safe to move to.
Yeah, I'll keep you updated on that. Maybe check in on you a little bit more, seeing as you're eating so healthy lately.
It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, but I'm trying my best. I want to be around there for you as much and for as long as I can.
Yeah, well, someone's got to stay up at that house anyway, so it's understandable.
I will say, I get this feeling that there's a storm coming. You know when the air changes and it just smells that way? I don't know. I feel like we're in for a rough storm season.
Oh, well, you know what they say. If the skies start to turn pink, we're in for it.
Will you be safe down there too? I know that place got battered a couple of years back by some pretty bad storms.
Yep. I'm doing my best. My roommates are helping me out with like the lay of the land and what we need to do for storms and bad things coming.
All right, well, good. If you need anything, you know I'm just a phone call away, and I can do whatever I can to help.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Will you take care of yourself now, okay?
I will do my best, and you do the same.
I will. Talk to you soon. Love you, kid.
Love you too.
As he hangs up the phone, roll me a wits and insight.
Four successes.
There's something in what he said about a storm is coming. And it felt odd even for him. Because he was the kind of guy that would still go out fishing even in a rainstorm, even in a thunderstorm. There were very few things that really bothered him to that degree. He could stand up against anything. So for him to mention it kind of gives you pause as to what it is he's referring to, as to why he would feel the need to say something like that. Is he picking up on something else, something extra, something new? Or is he in more trouble than he lets on? Because he's also not a one to show weakness. He can show vulnerability, sure. He shared his grief with you after your father's passing. But he still is a very strong individual. And for him to mention anything means that it must be something pretty heavy. So as you sit there and contemplate, you feel yourself letting go of that stress about what just happened as you look ahead, as you look forward to what may still be on the horizon, what might be coming. So if you have any aggravated willpower, you can heal that now. What is Quinn thinking after that phone call?
There is a little bit of worry. Quinn is known to fib, and he gets it a lot from his family. So he knows that his family is also capable of fibbing and stretching truths. So he is there's definitely worry that his uncle is keeping something from him, and he might need to check the books, check the finances, check out what his uncle is actually doing or getting up to.
Having those human connections after the change become all the more important because it reminds you of what it is to be human. It reminds you of where you come from. It reminds you in a way of what you're fighting for. But also, it is a large vulnerability to any guru. Because while it's what you're fighting for, it also can be taken away. And that can only lead two ways. One, to a way of losing the fight, a way of depression, a way of giving up because you have nothing else that matters to you. Or two, outright aggression. Much like the cult of Fenris, when Hoglosk sinks in. For now, it seems like everything is fine. But with that foreboding message at the end of the phone call, maybe there is a threat, and he just can't see it yet. We now go to break. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the second half of tonight's story. Welcome back. As we return, we find ourselves at the cigar factory late into the evening. Now, while electricity has been restored, there's still a process going on of making sure that the building is well lit. But Forged, you've selected a very dark room for a very specific purpose. You've gathered together some ingredients or some seeds to bring as an offering, but your primary necessary ingredient is a candle and a lighter. Because this is when and where you wish to call upon your pack patron, Ember. Now, Ember is a fickle spirit. There's no doubt about that. Their relations to the members of the pack have been varied, to say the very least, but you have always had a pretty decent relationship with Ember overall. However, you've also been the one who has violated their decree the most in losing your inner fire. So is that relationship still as good as it once was? We will have to see. So as you're sparking the lighter, moving the flame to the wick, letting the candle start to burn, what is Forge thinking as he tries to call upon Ember?
Forge is kind of feeling a bit frustrated right now, not just more in general, as everything that went down with Ethan, and kind of unsure about what he needs to do, kind of feeling a little conflicted in emotions on how much action should be done and is he going in the right direction, and also a curiosity as well, as he realizes none of them, at least no one here, seems to really know what Ember wants, besides, the initial decree and, asks of Ember. And Forge, now talking more with spirits and understanding them a bit more, he wants to understand more what Ember wants, what Ember is. This spirit taking a chance with all of them and stuck with him this whole time and guided him even to his own kid. He feels a sense of not obligation, but he wants to pay back what Ember has done for him.
Okay. So go ahead and describe to me how you go about summoning Ember. You have your candle, it's lit, you have your offerings. What do you do next?
We're just sitting there at first, waiting for something to happen. Not used to spirit summoning. Then usually the other times Ember has shown up to him, but if after a moment of nothing happening, just staring at the flames, he thinks about for a second. Ember, I'm calling to you. I want to talk, and hopefully you can point me in the right direction. I have some seeds if you want them, but I don't know if you want me just to start burning them. I could, you set some aside and in a little pile, make sure it's not going to light anything else on fire, as he sets the light to it as maybe a little bit of an offering, see if that entices Ember.
All right, give me a charisma and persuasion, but I will let you add an extra dice because you did bring an offering.
Yeah, you would think that more of us would do that, right? What's my rage?
It's only taken a year. Your rage right now, I would say, is probably at a pretty steady 2 after what happened with Ethan and him kind of poking at you pretty well. Yeah.
I'm gonna use a willpower. Okay, 2 successes, not the greatest.
Okay. As you call out to your pack patron, as you set flame to the seeds, which start to burn, issuing a grayish black smoke drifting upwards. The flame dims a little bit, almost going down to the point of embers upon the wick, the flame barely visible. But as it starts to regrow, it regrows with the extra appendages that Ember has been known to have. The face starting to form in amidst the flames.
Well, if it isn't my favorite ashtray.
Starting strong, are we, Ember?
I know no other way. What can I do for you, Forged?
I had a few questions I wanted to throw at you and see if you can give a little bit of guidance to all this shit going on right now.
I can. But what can you do for me?
That's one of the questions I was going to ask you, actually. Because you didn't really give us too much of a demand, really, about what to do. And so, I mean, from what I understand, talking with Delphine and overhearing all the other theurge stuff, you spirits likes things. You usually have goals or things you want to get done. And what are you trying to get done, Ember? What can we do for you?
When I awoke, I came into a world I didn't understand. Much had changed since the last time I dwelled amongst the Garou. The changes are many, and I still struggle to comprehend the breadth of it all. I wish to know more about the world as you see it. What is the world to you, Bradley?
Forge leans back, sitting down on the floor, taking a deep breath as he contemplates that. World to me, I mean, most of my world now is my son. Everything I do for him, or everything I do is for him. I mean, the world besides him, though, is pretty fucked up. I mean, the people in it aren't so bad. Most of the humans just trying to live the lives they want to live and, be comfortable, have their needs met. But it seems like every system built around them are making sure that doesn't happen. I mean, damn, most restaurants you go to, or most places you go to, you have to pay just to take a shit. I mean, that's a basic human necessity right there. And they're making you pay for it? I mean, I don't know. Especially housing, too. It's all fucked.
Do you think your experience has reflected the experience of others in this world?
I know a lot of people who went through similar stuff that I have. Maybe not exactly the same, especially being, a werewolf, a Garou, fighting for the world, but plenty of people have kids that they value more than anything. I know plenty of people who want to do the right thing and be better people and maybe struggle a bit more with that than they like to admit. And I know a lot of people who also just want to live a life worth living.
But But you don't have the kid, do you? There's a difference between having a child and being a father.
Forge looks a little thrown off by that, not expecting that level of sass from Ember. Oh, with this kind of night we're having, alright, I see.
I'm not judging you. You made the right decision. Wherever you went, that child would be in harm's way because of the very nature of what you are. But that too reflects the experience of many within your world. Having their family taken from them, being pulled apart, all because of what? The desires of others. Whether it's greed or wrath or envy. You've been knocked down time and time again. So much so that you've lost the thing that makes you different from them more times than any other individual within your pack. Can you see how similar your experience is to the world?
Forge really takes that in and considers the truth of all that. It does feel nice to hear, at least, the validation, especially from the pack patron, to know that what I did was right, especially after the verbal lashing, in a way, beat down I got from Ethan, to know that some of my actions were not the wrong one, and how what Ember said is true, that even being knocked down over and over again, to lose that flame in your chest but still getting up anyways despite of all of that, how prevalent that is, how often he sees it when he goes out at night and sees some people struggling more than others at time, drinking too much, trying to forget something, and seeing them get better and helping them at least be a shoulder to cry on for a time. As he'll, after he stops, getting lost in thought, he'll say, I guess you're right. I guess it probably helps being a bone gnawer, being closest to the ones who struggle the most, which it seems like these days is almost everyone. If you're not the top dog of the pit, having the 1% of money.
Gaia exists in all things. In you, in me, in this candle, in all living things. I asked of you to not let your flame go out. Why do you think that is?
Because my flame is what my connection to Gaia is, or it's what helped me be able to fight for Gaia?
Yes, that is true. But there is another reason. You want to know what I want from you. I want you to use the flame inside of you to relight the flames of others who've had theirs put out. Because that light that exists in you also exists in them. Maybe not the same, but it still exists. And as it dies one by one, so too does Gaia. You cannot light a flame without a flame of your very own.
I've always wondered though, is the flame rage, or is it hope? Because it feels a lot of the time like the flame in me that feels like it almost going to burn me out sometimes feels just like anger and rage, but what you're describing sounds a lot more like hope and, you know, something, the fire to hope for a better future.
Why did they have to be mutually exclusive? You can view that rage inside of you as anger, but it can also be hope. Clinging on to the hope that you can do something about what's happening around you. If you view it only as uncontrollable anger, then it is not a flame. It is an inferno. And infernos destroy. Flames can provide light. So how you view that flame inside of you, how you use it, that is what defines the impact you're going to have and what you're capable of.
Upon hearing that, something clicks for Forge as he thinks back to the multiple times he lost his wolf. At those times, he often felt almost more comfortable, more at ease, like it was almost a better state for him. At the moment, he thought it was just because he had less anger, but as Ember describes how you view it changes what it is and how it can be hope and anger and how it can drive you to do these things, Forge finally has a bit of a realization, realizing that he wasn't relieved because he was not angry. He was relieved because in those moments he was giving up that hope and just accepting being powerless. And he, as it kind of comes to that realization, he straightens up and looks down, mouth slightly agape as he thinks of this. Ember, I don't know how, but what you're saying feels like it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it makes a whole lot of fucking sense right now.
It makes sense because you understand responsibility for the first time in your life. You've accepted it, embraced it, not run from it or hid from it. Becoming a father, which is what you became, made you truly understand responsibility. Confronting your brother, albeit difficult, made you understand the responsibility you neglected. Losing that connection to your parents, furthermore, you understand what can happen if no one is responsible.
If no one's there to stop the decay and the worm, what will happen to all of us? To all our families, to all our loved ones.
There is no light, there is only darkness.
Did you know that was going to happen, Ember, when we went up there? What we were going to run into?
I I knew there was a darkness that you were walking into. Did I know specifically what form it took? No.
And when I was shot by my brother and lost consciousness, did Juniper try calling to you?
No. You didn't lose consciousness, Forged. You died. It wasn't just the extinguishing of the flame that makes you Guru. It was the extinguishing of your life. Juniper rarely called upon flame. She relied upon Inferno. She viewed her fire as rage and anger and vengeance and righteous fury. And those that burn brightest burn for the least amount of time.
What? Was it Fenris that brought me back then? Do I owe my life to Fenris for saving me?
Was it Fenris that brought you back? Yes. Do you owe your life to him? No. You owe your life to Juniper, for she surrendered hers.
This kind of played into the next thing I wanted to ask you about, and because Juniper told me one of her regrets that she didn't take out more with her, and how that had that righteous anger, as she would describe it. And it feels like lately, I mean, for a while now, we haven't gone on a mission, we haven't done something to clear out any worms or leeches. And I'm wondering, I mean, it feels like some of the things that Ethan said, Nicole Fenris said, was kind of true. I don't want to feel like we're settling, like we're just becoming complacent or plateauing. I'm wondering, are we headed in the right direction, Ember? Or are we just not doing anything?
What makes a mission, Forged? A mission is an objective, and it is determined by the success or failure of accomplishing that objective. Every day is a mission. It's a mission to survive physically. On top of that, every individual has their own mission, whether it's to succeed at the work they're doing, to remind the people they love that they care for them, even if it's to bring destruction. If you view a mission based solely off of combating the worm through violence, then you're right. You have not been on a mission in quite some time. But there are many, many ways to fight, and many, many different missions to go on. Do I believe that you're headed in the right direction? That depends on where you're trying to go. Where are you trying to go, Forged?
Forge like leans forward a bit more, like kind of getting almost closer to Ember, feeling maybe the smallest amount of warmth emanating off of them. I feels like sometimes I know and sometimes I don't. 'Cause sometimes, I mean, I know I want to be there for my son when he grows up, so he can know who his father is, to help him in this world, because he's going to become like me one day. And I want. Ethan said that we could change everything, tear down the vile, corrupt system and put something new. And that's. I just want my son to live in a world that isn't broken and dying. And I don't know how I'm going to get there.
How would tearing everything down make the world better?
I don't know. It's because that's all I've really known. You know, that's what I'm familiar with. That's what I'm comfortable with. Because I mean, being deadbeat, and even a lot less these days, being forged. But if I didn't like something, I'd just tear it down, get rid of it, run away from it. And now you're putting me in a system here where I can't quite do that to the level that I'm used to, and it feels uncomfortable, feels wrong, like it's so badly. I just want to beat the shit out of the cult of Fenris for all the shit they said, and I want to beat the shit out of the leeches for doing all everything to the people here and ruining Ybor, and I want to go up to the government and just knock some fucking sense into all of them. But I don't know, just I know I can't, and it bothers me.
Violence doesn't create, it only destroys. Sometimes it destroys something worthy of destruction, like an unfair dictatorship. And what comes from that violence may be creation, but it wasn't the violence itself that created. It was the hope for change, for difference, for something new. It was keeping the flame lit inside to keep moving forward, to refuse to be extinguished. Yes, you could go and do all of those things you stated. And could it help? Certainly. But that requires there to be something that comes after that. For as much as the Fenris hate the system, where would they be without it? For all of the bad it's done, what about the good that it's done? Humans are living longer than they ever have because of technologies created by that system. The population is larger than it's ever been because of that system. And while there are many faults with it, think of what the alternative was. Think about a time where to live past the age of 30 was to be considered an elderly individual. Is that the world you want to live in? Because that's the world they are going to create by tearing everything apart. If that.
Yeah, it's. I understand. I'm. It's, bastard Ethan just knows how to poke underneath my skin and just make me feel like I'm not doing enough, and it's those bastards.
He is appealing to a part of you. He is making you view your flame as rage and frustration. And yes, that is one way to view it. But it's not the only way.
Right. I need to remind myself about that and not let some cowardly guru who ran hiding for 14 years tell me that what I'm doing is messing up and wrong. I doubt he ever worked a day in a soup kitchen in his life, so.
Which felt better to you? That battle against the infected at the fairgrounds? Or spending time with your son?
Spending time with my son.
Because you created it, not because you destroyed it.
Yeah, that's a whole lot harder too. It was not too hard to just run in and do throw all your muscle into something hoping that it tears apart, but actually trying to help someone to help life. It's definitely a lot more of a challenge than I'm not used to, but it's I would if I had to go back, I would do the same thing again.
What is the heart if not the most important muscle in the body? What is the mind if not the muscle that creates direction and focus? Yes, your outer muscles may be quite impressive, capable of doing many things, but without the heart and the mind, it's just meat.
Yeah. I don't know if this would be prying too much, but it seems lately like I don't know, talking with my pack mates, especially ever since I came back, something felt a little different, something felt a little off. And I don't know if you can tell me so maybe I can do something but do you know if I can help them with anything or if is a pack supposed to be friends, all friends? I feel like I don't know, ever seen that book of pictures, it just felt like if something were to happen to any of us now, I mean Quinn could have died on that mission, and I mean he hadn't been here for long, but I'd still be pretty bummed out if he died and I didn't even have any sort of no one would have really known except the memory that he was here, and then what, 5-10 years would anyone even remember him besides that guy that was here? And same goes for each of us. Like if something were to happen to Ray or Delphine, what memory would be left behind of them?
A pack isn't supposed to be anything. A pack is how you view it, how you make it, what it means to you. Some would say a pack is deeper than friendship. Maybe even deeper than what we view family to be. It is a connection through mind, body, and spirit. But just as easily, packs can be created and destroyed. How do you view the idea of pack?
Earth made a sound. I never really given it a lot of thought. I mean, I don't know. At first, it was just a bunch of people I was stuck with that I hated, thought they were all assholes. But now it's, I don't know. I mean, Delphine's pretty cool. We're good. I want to say friends. I mean, we hang out sometimes, but I know if it wasn't for this, we would never have interacted probably in our entire lives, save for in passing. And I've been convincing Ray to go out and do a little more stuff, but he seems always so occupied, I guess, with everything going on with him, with his clearing the shame and Eliza and whatever else he's got going on. And I mean, Quinn just got here. I'm trying to get to know him, but it feels, I don't know, it feels like a closed book doesn't want to be open. It's just every time I try and find out anything like more substantial, he just dodges the question. Like, feels like I'm. No, I shouldn't say that, but I want to get. I don't know, I want to get closer, and I want to make memories. So if anything were to happen to any of us, I would have something to hold on to with them. I'm worried. I'm worried in a few years or longer, I'm not going to remember what Juniper looked like.
You want to have what they had.
I want us to be able to live on in each other if anything were to happen, and know that someone will hold on to us once we die.
What's stopping you?
I don't know. Like Forge looks away at this point. He grappling with like a sense of apprehension. Like he's a little bit of fear of not being sure if that's even something they would want, and that vulnerability to know to be so open with these people, knowing that we're in such dangerous work, to know that if I do get closer and do try and secure a really tight bond, that something it'll be exposing me to a lot more pain than just kind of keeping everything as a casual level.
And there it is. You're afraid. You're afraid of what opening yourself up to the possibility of rejection means. You're afraid of the idea of losing more than you already have. You're afraid of being loved, truly. Forge, do you have built up walls around yourself so high that it's almost impossible for anyone to scale? And looking about your companions, I'm surprised, but most of them can rip a piece of paper, let alone break through a brick wall.
Deep sigh from Forge as Ember once again nails how he's feeling. I don't know how spirits work in this way, and if something, I mean, you've been through, understand, but it's just hard that I lost my family, I lost my brother, I saved my child, my son, but now he's away from me too. I've lost people I didn't even think I would care about. You know, Sean, a year ago, I wouldn't give a fuck if he died. But now, here I am being sad that he gave up his life for me. And I just don't want to lose anymore. Is that selfish? That, I don't know.
It's human. It's human. But the way you view it, just like the way you view the flame inside, makes all the difference. You could be sad that Sean lost his life in exchange for yours, but you could also be grateful. You could view it as a loss, or you could view it as an honorable sacrifice. Your perspective, the way you see things, that's what decides the outcome. That's what decides the effect it has on you. If you want to view all of these things as losses, then yes, you will be sad. Some of those things were taken from you, others you gave up. But it all led you to here, now, in this moment.
I think at this point, Forge will adjust himself. He will put a couple more seeds into the fire and like lay down now, his head closer to Ember. If he's just staring up, you know, hand behind his head, chatting. Ember, I mean, I'm sure you're connected to us, so you probably felt this from me, but sometimes I'm worried that what I felt when I left that mine, my son, that sense of emptiness, that cold pit that just wouldn't leave, and sometimes when I'm trying to go to sleep at night, just creeps back into me, and I feel like I'm about to be back, about to lose everything again. I'm worried I'm gonna feel like that forever, and I don't know. Do you think I will? Do you think it will ever go away, and that I'll one day look back and actually be able to be happy about what happened and about what's going on in my life, or are guys like me just kind of doomed to be angsty and sad all the time?
No one is doomed. They choose doom. That feeling was a warning of what's to come if the flames go out.
I don't know if I should be admitting this to you, because I feel like it might be kicking, not very good for you to hear if I'm your, I guess, pack person, your werewolf pack, I don't know, but it's strange to say that it feels comfortable, like being there. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to describe it much, but when I feel that way, that's how I've always felt, even before, when like I would still have those empty feelings, but I just drink or, lash out against it. But I don't know, it just feels like I'm supposed to be there. But I know it's about perspective, and when I do actually do good shit, it goes away, and that's pretty nice, but I don't know.
You spent a majority of your life being used to being numb, not caring, escaping. surrendering. Why it feels nice is because it's a reminder of what was normal once. But normal doesn't always mean good. Comfortable doesn't always mean good.
I suppose that's true. I don't know if this is insulting to say, but you're pretty wise for an Ember.
I've lived a very, very long time. Some might say since the birth of the universe. I've seen what happens when the lights go out. Just as I've seen what happens when they burn at their brightest. There can be comfort in the cold. But that's usually right before you die from hypothermia.
Right. Balance and things, that makes sense. Like, it's just a moment, like, I feel like there's a moment of silence there as Ford just kind of thinks, digests all of that. He feels potentially the fading heat from Ember next to his head as he stares up at this dark ceiling lit up by the candle. I don't know if any of us said this, and we'll probably have to say it a lot more, but thank you, Ember. Probably words don't mean a whole lot and don't do a lot for you, but you didn't have to give us a chance and choose a bunch of fucked up guru, but you did, and I appreciate that. If you need anything, just let me know, alright? I'll try and do my best to put some fire back into people's hearts and see if we can put some hope back into this city.
We are connected. Forged, all of us are. And every time your fires go out, so does mine.
I'm sorry, Ember. I'll try and make sure then that me and the others don't lose our fire then. I keep up our hope. And
don't be sorry. Find a new way to be comfortable. Or get used to being uncomfortable.
knowing me, it'll probably be that second option, but we can hope, huh? That's what the fire's for.
For now, yes. But as your perception starts to change, you'll realize that what you thought was comfortable was actually the most uncomfortable.
I feel like I should be talking to spirits more. I don't know, it feels like better to be talking to spirits than actually have some good wisdom, you know?
We're not all assholes. But if you don't bring an offering, it's a good way to start.
I mean, it doesn't seem too hard, right? I mean, I don't know, just connects the themes to what you are. I mean, Pretty sure Delphine does that, right? I mean, she has to. She's a pretty smart theurge. I'm sure she does it pretty often.
There are no truly selfless acts with Forged. We do the things we do because of the feelings it gives us. Some are rewarded through physical offerings, some are rewarded through thanks. It's natural. I think often the Guru forget that they are part spirit. Spirits have feelings too. Spirits have needs too. We're not Google. You can't just look us up for the answers to all of your problems.
Forge thinking back to the many times when faced with a problem, asking to just ask a spirit of said problem, and realizing he might have fallen into that trap many times. Yeah, that's... Look, I'm forged from failures, okay? So it's a process. We're learning and figuring out. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe I'll be I don't know, make a new auspice of combine all of them. You know, learned a little bit about the Galliards, now about the Theurge. What? Philodox shouldn't be too hard, right?
The only thing that separates you from all the other auspices is the decision that what moon you were created under is what defines you. But it isn't.
Guess that's true. I mean, Juniper, I don't know, seemed like she was more in a rune than I was a lot of the time, and I don't know. It's just, I guess that's fault, you know, something we can all remember at the end of the day, is that we're not defined by that kind of stuff, and you know, do a little bit more than what we're just told. You know, we're said our moons is supposed to do.
Those are all just the machinations of your culture.
I think at this point, Forge will. I think he's gotten what he needed from this conversation, knowing what Ember wants now, feeling a bit more at peace with what happened and about the direction he's going in. He'll look over. Do you want the rest of the seeds, Ember? And I'll let you chew on that while I got some stuff I need to get done. I know Delphine's been... Quinn was doing our chores last week, but now I actually get back on them again.
Save them for next time.
As she says that, the flame dies down, going back to just the smoking embers at the edge of the wick as the flame goes out. But it only goes out on the candle. Whether it goes out on the world is truly what the Guru are fighting for. It's far too often that they lose sight of that. We now transition to our final scene of tonight's story. In our final scene of tonight's story, it is once again the gathering of the Ghost Council of Tampa. At the offices of Pelfrey and Weiss, attorneys at law. At the corner office belonging to Anna Pelfrey. You've made your entrance, you've knocked at the door, you're seated at the desk, face to face, possibly with answers you still choose not to accept, but with questions nonetheless. Because if Ghost Council had all the answers or accepted them at face value, they wouldn't really be Ghost Council, would they? So, as you sit across from the elder known as Anna Eyes of the Sea Pelfrey, a guru who has experienced a great deal and lived a story that has brought her to Tampa, of all places, the scene is yours.
Walking into the office, sitting down, and going through that whole process, it's pretty obvious to see that Ray is exhausted. There is like a slump in his shoulders, a little bit less of that correct posture he usually has, a little bit slower steps. Everything that's kind of happened in the last couple weeks is kind of weighing down a bit. And as he's staring across from Anna, he just kind of lets out a breath, not knowing really where to start. So I followed your advice, or at least I think I followed your advice, and I went to go talk to Hashkut Matthias.
And?
Well, my hopes were ill-placed. I hoped that by talking to him, I could maybe figure out a reason or a solution to convince him to leave Matthias, but it seems like his desire for revenge to get back at Aspen is greater than I thought it was. Or the reason that I thought I could try to convince him to leave doesn't matter to him anymore.
An interesting thing that happens in court when an argument shifts sides, when you know you've lost the jury because the other side has taken control of the conversation. Because really, that's all court is, a conversation. A conversation to determine the validity of certain accusations and what weight those accusations carry, to find the truth. Raymond, do you believe you were in control of that conversation?
No. Honestly, I probably wasn't in control at any point in time during that conversation.
Why not?
I mean, I tried to counteract his points. I tried to poke and prod and try to figure out if what I was saying to him is getting through in some way. And every time he came back with a rebuttal that would just shoot it down or prove me wrong.
You were on the defense.
Yes, I was.
Did you feel that was necessary? What did you have to defend?
I guess his accusations against me and what he thought were my intentions and my desires. Because he did attack me personally most of the time. Attacked my pack and attacked my friends.
Do you respect Hashkut?
At that question, he kind of leaned back in his chair a little stunned at the question. Because he's never thought of like Hoshgut in the way of like him owing Ray owing him respect or showing respect to him in any way. And after 10 or 15 seconds of thinking, I mean, I don't know if I respect him one way or the other, if I don't or if I do. I mean, he's holding to his guns. He's set out to do something and he's going to do it. He wants to do it and he's willing to do whatever he can to accomplish that, even if he has to burn down Tampa, burn down the world. So, I mean, I guess I respect him in that way of his drive and his desire.
And therefore, you offered him that respect by caring what he thought, enough to try and convince him and argue with him to the contrary. You let him put you on the defensive because you were trying to change his mind. Why? The point of the conversation wasn't to make him see the right. It was to expose him. To expose him to his weaknesses. To expose him to what he really wanted, not what he protests to want. You, Raymond, got swept up in the rhetoric of it all and the passion of it all because Hoshgut is a good arguer. And once you were on that defensive, you cared too much about what he thought about you and your pack and what you're trying to do. Someone who doesn't care about you or your objectives or your friends can never be convinced otherwise. Anger is a strong motivator to be stubborn. And Hoshgut is very angry. And you know what he's angry about.
You're right. I mean, I went in way too unprepared, and I didn't really expect him to be that good at getting underneath my skin. I expected some. I expected to be poked and prodded and to have everything thrown at me, but I don't know, the way he said it and the way that he accused me of thinking what of him knowing what I wanted, it just kind of, I gave in and he won.
Well, part of that is likely Matthias's influence combined with the years he spent in Aragabash. Just as spirits can rub off on us, we can also have an effect on them.
At this point, I mean, I don't know what to do at this point, because last time I tried to help someone like this, I continued to push and prod for another solution, and I waited too long, and it caused more damage and more hurt than what I wanted or what I expected. And I don't know if I have that time anymore, or if I should make that decision this time.
One of the greatest struggles I've seen this sept have is what comes next. Everyone knows the obstacle they're facing. Everyone knows who the villain is, or the evil is, or the problem is. But they only think about how to face that problem. how to get past that problem. And they're also worrying about what other problem is going to crop up after that problem. But they don't think about what comes next. You have a desire to rid yourself of Hashigat. You have a desire to cleanse Matthias of Hashigat. But what comes next? What's after that?
After Hashigat is expelled from Matthias and I find a way to break this pact and ensure that I'm not corrupted next, the next step is to find a way to deal or appease Hashigat in a way. That's the next step in my mind.
Do you have to break the pact? What does the pact entail?
The pact that I made was that in the moment, if he gave us the information that we needed about the Wormstones, information that we needed at the time, that I would allow him access and a show. He wanted a place in what we were building, and I allowed him that.
Does that place have to be you?
I mean, I've thought about, I don't want to, in a sense, corrupt the new cairn we're building. I don't know who else would be willing to take him. Putting him inside of a vessel with binding isn't a home for him.
Not if you phrase it that way. Angry people want to be validated in their anger. They want to be told it's understandable why they're angry. They want someone to empathize with them, genuinely. Not with platitudes, not with, here's why you shouldn't be mad. They just want to let their fire burn and then let it burn out. The reason people stay angry is because nobody's getting them. Nobody agrees with them. Nobody understands them. Hashigat's angry because he lost his home. So he found another. Or maybe was even forced into another. I'm not entirely sure how that process went. And now, he's being told again he has to move out. But nobody's thinking as to where, so he's making contingency plans of his own. He's fighting for survival. Because if Hashigat was truly released, he's released to the worm. And the worm is very sick. And so too are those connected to it. A cairn is a very complicated place. It's easy to think of it as a spiritual font of power or an access point into the Umbra, but it's composed of many different parts. And many of those parts are homes for the local spirits. Because really, the spirits are renting the place to you. It's not yours. But not every home within that spirit guarantees direct access, or within that cairn guarantees direct access to the cairn itself. If Hashigat wants to feel involved, if Hashigat wants access, a show, maybe he just needs a vessel that allows him that access without allowing him control.
Okay. I think I understand what you're getting at. It's not having him be a part of the cairn isn't going to somehow corrupt the cairn in a way.
Only if you do it recklessly.
True.
But the Gaia is the triad. Equal parts wild, weaver, and worm.
So I guess, like you said earlier with how I phrased the binding, I was taught that I was, or at least my interpretation of what I was taught was that I was the jailer, that I was punishing the Banes, the worm spirits I captured, and locking them away because of crimes, because of their destruction. But
for the corrupted ones, yes. Because if you let them be free, which is all that they want, they will continue to unleash destruction. They don't want to be stopped from what they're doing. Hashigat is throwing a tantrum. That's why he wants to burn the city down. That's why he wants to take everything away from Aspen. But is it what he really wants, or is it just the tantrum?
it's the tantrum. I mean,
That's
everything he said, every time I would try to bring up a point and everything, he always brought it back to what Aspen did to him. And
because he's hurt and angry.
yeah. I mean, I can understand that.
He doesn't know you can. Because you basically spent a long time telling him why he's wrong, not why he's right.
You know, I would have argued with you on that, but I mean, yeah. All I've done in the past 6 months is look for a way to get him out, look for a way to solve the problem and get rid of him from me and Matthias. And I mean, he knows that. He obviously can see and knows what I'm doing.
And that's the same thing that was done to him before. So you are trying to repeat what happened in history. Now, it wasn't, from what I understand, intentional the first time. It was just an effect of what happened, but he doesn't know or care. He only cares about what happened to him, as most angry individuals do.
Would giving him a way to vent his anger in a better way be a better solution?
It could be. Potentially. Or just letting the anger die with acknowledgement and understanding. Telling him he's right to be angry, but he doesn't need to cause all this destruction because of his anger. He just needs to be heard and vent it all out. That's why therapy is so successful and should have been something done forever. Think of the numerous things that could have been resolved if someone had just said what they were really feeling instead of acting on it.
It would have saved a lot of lives and a lot of heartache, I'm sure.
It would have. But we can't fix what has happened. We can only work on what is happening and what will happen. Banes are usually drawn to humans because it's not a long stay. They get in, they deteriorate, and they die. And then they move on to the next one. But you have to stop thinking of Hashigat as a Bane. He's behaving like one, certainly. But so do we when we're angry or sad. If you don't view him and treat him like a Bane, but just as any other spirit or person, maybe, just maybe, that'll be enough. Now, you do have to cleanse Matthias, it's true. Because the longer he's in there, the more broken Matthias is going to be. But what's going to likely come next? He's going to go to you. And that means you're going to get a lot of time together. Maybe time for conversation. Maybe time for understanding. And maybe time to plan what comes next. But if you go into it looking to rid yourself of him, he is not going to go quietly into that dark night. Because why would he? He knows what's waiting for him on the other side, and it's not good.
I think with what I was taught and with the training that I've been going through, I just thought of him as a Bane. Even though I did research, and from what I figured out, it's not the case because Matthias hasn't become a dancer yet. It's how Banes interact with us as Geru, but that's not what's happened. It's been over a year.
Correct. He should have been long gone by now. But he's not.
In the past, I mean, every time I've tried to do something, I've destroyed myself and sacrificed part of myself without thinking about the consequences and what it would mean for others. I mean, or myself. I mean, that's how I got in this situation with Hoshkit. But
Right.
maybe if I guess in a way, sacrifice a part of myself to allow him in so I can learn and try and help him get better. It's not this same form of toxic sacrifice that I did in the past.
That is an immediate option, yes. That is an immediate solution. But because he's not a Bane, is something that could potentially die any given day, therefore releasing him back into the spirit wilds really all that appealing?
I mean, from what I know about him, is most of his life has been attached to someone. He's always been able to see and feel and experience what someone else goes through. So going to the spirit wilds and losing that life that they've always lived is definitely something that I would fight. So I understand that.
But humans and Guru aren't the only things that see and feel and experience. They just do it differently.
I mean, you said that that's the most immediate solution, and the only other thing that I can think of is if he wants to be tied to someone but not have that corruption. I mean, tying him to an object and carrying him around with me at all times so he could experience what I'm experiencing could be something too.
Could be. There are potential risks that come with something like that. Because again, talismans, talons, those are made from bound spirits. And if a spirit isn't open to the idea of it, it is like being imprisoned. But if all Hashigat wants is a show, is access, do you have to be the center of that show at all times? Do you have to be the primary player? Raymond, I'm going to lay this out for you as simply as possible to help you along the way. You have a vessel capable of carrying a spirit, but currently it's only partially housed because it's made of a part of a spirit, not a whole spirit. Now that part of a spirit is suffering and is having problems because of the fact that it isn't the greater whole. It needs to be returned to the whole. But that leaves an empty house with no one to live in it. What if that house were subletted to an individual who isn't feared or hated or avoided, but is entertained and welcomed and accepted and understood? It doesn't have to be a prison, it could just be a home. And from the sounds of it, all Hashigat has wanted is a home.
I understand. I just hope that I can find the right home for him, I guess.
You already have it. You just have to know it's there. It isn't part of the cairn and doesn't have to be, but it could still have access.
Okay. Can I do an insight roll to try to figure out what she's talking about?
Yeah.
Because Ben as a player is kind of lost.
That's
right
okay.
now. I use willpower. Or successes.
Okay. You read the journal. You've heard the stories. Quinn brought back a tree that was very important to the cult of Fenris. Why? Because it was a piece of Grandmother Willow. But it was only a piece. You take care of what's within, the tree doesn't necessarily die, though it will over time, as all things do, because it doesn't have that extra oomph. But trees can live a very long time. And they get to see a lot. And if tended to, taken care of, respected, not cut down and turned into paper, they can take root. They can feel at home. They can be stable in a world of instability. And as far as I know, there are plans for a garden at the new cairn. Wouldn't it be nice if there was a tree in that garden?
Okay. Yeah, after a few moments, Ray will eyes will kind of widen a little bit more. Okay, now I understand. I see what you're getting at.
They want to feel like they're part of something bigger than just themselves. But all they've had is themselves for a while now. And their anger. If you're convincing enough and honest about it, maybe you can show them a different way that's less destructive and more endearing. It doesn't have to be a prison. It's viewed that way because they don't want to be there. But what if they did want to be there? Then it's not a prison, it's a home.
I just hope that I'm convincing enough. It's the only thing that I'm worried about.
Well, you convince yourself that there's another option plenty enough, so you must be pretty convincing.
Yeah, but I'm also pretty delusional, so it's pretty easy to convince myself.
Just be honest. Be true. And while, as far as I understand, the conditions of the deal are they can't help you with Hashigat, who's to say they can't help you pave the way?
I have an idea.
Maybe that's the answer you've been seeking all along. But one way or another, one thing remains. We have to cleanse Matthias, and we have to do it next week. Because until we take care of that, you can have all the ideas in the world that they won't mean anything until he is forced to face what's coming. If you can convince him to leave Matthias through that ritual, that's the first step. And I'll be there to help you with the ritual. Don't worry about that. But convince him to go willingly. Show him that you have a plan that's going to appeal to him. And you're well on your way.
I knew it was a short time. I didn't think it was going to be immediately next week. But yeah, I'll do my
Aspen
best to
and
convince him.
Chester are going to be coming home soon. Wouldn't it be nice for their mentor to be recovering rather than still ailing when they get here?
I think that would be a good surprise, yeah.
So why wait?
Yeah, you're right. Why wait? We'll talk and solidify where we're gonna meet up and what we're gonna do, and yeah, we'll go free Matthias.
It's a start. But you're also freeing Hashigat from his anger and his resentment and his fear. Again, your perspective matters here. If he is just being shut out, he is going to fight you. If he's being welcomed in, and more than just a brand on your arm from a foolish pact you made, maybe that'll make all the difference.
I really hope it does.
Don't hope it, believe it. They have an impression on us, but we also have an impression on them. If your belief is strong enough, it will, by transitive properties, carry over.
You're right. I should change how I think about that. And I mean, like you said, I'm pretty good at convincing myself of things.
It's not a problem to be solved. He's an individual in need.
I want to help him.
Might take you a couple more days to truly believe that, but that's a good start.
I'll try.
As the meeting concludes, and you get up to leave with all these new revelations, your mind firing on all cylinders at the possibilities. Maybe, just maybe, you've found that other answer you've been seeking. And it comes from the most unlikely of places, because too often do we focus on the answer to get rid of something, to make it go away, to stop it, or to destroy it, or to banish it. What if the solution is just to embrace it? This is where our story comes to a close this evening, but not without one last scene. Our final scene starts with smoke and fire. A business in the West Shore area of Tampa has just been destroyed. The business really doesn't matter what it was, because it isn't that anymore. And as the smoke drifts lazily up to the sky, we follow it up, 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 to a man standing on a balcony of his penthouse suite. His hair gelled back, his suit comfortably placed around his body. It's no longer a tantrum now. The city is burning. And he, Matthias Morningkill, aka Hashigat, gets to watch it burn, just like he wanted. this is where our story comes to a close. Thank you so much to these amazing players. Thank you to everybody watching at home. Go follow St. Pete by Night on all of the social media you see listed in the description, and join our community by following that Discord link. If you really like what you see, sign up for the Ko-fi, because you can see the rosebud thorns for this very session, as well as a bunch of extra behind the scenes features on all of our programs. So go check that out. We are heading into our final week before we take our vacation, the end of the season. So we've only got one more episode of Rage Across Tampa. We've only got one more episode of Hellhounds, but we do have 2 more episodes of Red Tide Rising. So go check all of those out this week before we're off for our 2-week break. But for these amazing players, I'm Kent. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.